Rani Lakshmibai, the warrior goddess, a true epitome of bravery. The fearless queen of Jhansi who awakened the spirit of freedom among thousands of people, Rani Lakshmibai is a true inspiration and a symbol of indomitable courage. Her stories of courage and resistance against the British still continue to fill everyone's heart with immense pride and gratitude. The brave queen guarded Jhansi's pride until her last breath. A true patriot full of pride for her country, with unconditional devotion to the country, she awakened the spirit of freedom among thousands of people. खूब लड़ी मर्दानी वो तो झांसी वाली रानी थी. This epic verse from the poem Jhansi Ki Rani, written by Subhadra Kumari Chauhan, is perfect to summarize how the Rani of Jhansi fought valiantly against the British Empire and left a decisive impact on the history of India. Her opinion and take of the British government is truly exceptional. A true inspiration for the women of this century, Jhansi Ki Rani was indeed a brave queen and a fearless fighter. The women of this nation feels overwhelmed and enthusiastic when called Jhansi Ki Rani, a country yet to come out of the stigma of gender differences. The example of Jhansi Ki Rani is indeed a reminder and symbol of true bravery and women empowerment. The women in our country still fall behind the adamancy and courage the Rani portrayed, standing tall and protecting her motherland. Formative years. Manikarnika Tambe was born in the city of Varanasi into a Marathi Brahmin family on November 19, 1828. Her father, Moropant Tambe, was the Kalyanprant war commander and worked for Peshwa Bajirao II of the Bithur district. Her mother, Bhagirathi Sapre, died when she was 4 years old. Manikarnika was nicknamed Manu and was described as playful. Since childhood, Manu was inclined towards the use of weapons. She was homeschooled, she learned to read and write, striving to become more independent and mastered fencing, horseback riding, shooting, etc. She grew up with Tatya Tope and Nana Sahib. Rani Lakshmibai contrasted many patriarchal cultural expectations for women in Indian society. Marriage. Manikarnika married the middle-aged Maharaja of Jhansi, Gangadhar Rao Nevalkar, in May 1842 and was later named Lakshmibai in honor of the Hindu goddess Lakshmi, and according to the Maharashtrian tradition that women are given a new name after marriage. In September 1851, she gave birth to a boy named Damodar Rao, and he could not survive his infancy, died 4 months after birth. The Maharaja adopted a boy named Anand Rao, his cousin's son, who was renamed Damodar Rao. The day before the Maharaja's death, the adoption took place in the presence of the British politician, who received a letter from the Maharaja ordering that the child be treated with respect and that the Jhansi government be returned to his widow for life. Apparently, Maharaja died in November 1853. Doctrine of Lapse. Dalhousie, then British Governor General of India, did not recognize Lakshmi Baisa's adopted son as Jhansi's heir and applied the doctrine of forfeiture to annex the kingdom, rejecting Damodar Rao's claim to the throne. In March 1854, Rani Lakshmibai received an annual pension of Rs 60,000 and was ordered to leave the palace and the fort. Indian Rebellion of 1857. The beginning. Many factors lead to the revolt of 1857, but the main factor was the introduction of greased cartridges by the East India Company. The sepoys must have bit the cartridge of the new Enfield rifle through their teeth. This was unacceptable to the soldiers as the cartridges were greased with beef and pork. Shocked by the British attempt to defile their religion, the soldiers joined in the collective mutiny. It is believed that before the Sepoy Mutiny, Lakshmibai was unwilling to rebel against the British but changed her mind in 1858 when the commander of the British forces, Sir Hugh Ross, demanded the surrender of Jhansi. On May 10, 1857, the Indian rebellion began in Meerut. When news of the fighting reached Jhansi, the Rani asked the British political officer, Captain Alexander Skene, for permission to raise a body of armed men for his own protection, which Skene agreed to. The city was relatively calm in the midst of regional disturbances. But the Rani organized a celebration of the Halidi Kumkum in front of all women of Jhansi to provide guarantees for their subjects. In the summer of 1857, and to convince them that the British were cowards and that they should not be afraid of them. In June 1857, the rebels of the 12th Native Bengal Infantry seized the Jhansi Star Fort containing the treasure and magazine, and after persuading the British to lay down their arms by promising not to do harm, broke their word and massacred 40 to 60 people, including Eurasian garrison officers together with their wives and children. Rani's involvement in this massacre remains a matter of debate. 4 days after the massacre, the sepoys left Jhansi after obtaining a large sum of money from the Rani and threatening to blow up the palace where she lived. As a result, as the sole source of authority in the city, the Rani felt compelled to take over the administration and wrote to Major Erskine, Saugur Division Commissioner, explaining the events that had led them to do so. On July 2, Erskine wrote in response asking her to manage the district for the British government. Until the arrival of a British superintendent, Rani's forces defeated an attempt by the mutineers to assert the right to the throne of a rival prince, Sadashiv Rao, who was captured and imprisoned. Then there was an invasion of Jhansi by the forces of the elite Orcha Company and Datia. However, their intention was to divide Jhansi between them. So Rani appealed to the British for help, but the Governor-General believed that she was responsible for the massacre and no response was received. She set up a foundry for casting cannons for use on the walls of the fort and gathered forces including some of Jhansi's former feudatories and elements of the mutineers who succeeded in defeating the invaders in August 1857. Her intention at that time was still to detain Jhansi on behalf of the British. Siege of Jhansi. From August 1857 to January 1858, Jhansi under the Rani's government was at peace. The British had announced that troops would be sent there to maintain control, but the fact that none arrived reinforced the position of their advisors who wanted independence from British rule. When the British forces finally arrived in March, they found it well defended and the fort had heavy guns that could fire on the city and the nearby countryside. Lakshmibai defended Jhansi against British troops when Sir Hugh Rose besieged Jhansi on 23 March 1858. The bombardment of Jhansi began on March 24 but was retaliated with heavy fire and damaged defences were repaired. During the battle with the forces of Tatya Tope, part of the British forces continued the siege and on April 2. Then it was decided to launch an assault through a breach in the walls. Determined resistance met in every street and in every room of the palace. The Rani withdrew from the palace to the fort and after taking advice decided that since resistance in the city was unnecessary, she should leave and join either Tatya Tope or Rao Sahib. The Rani escaped into the night with her son surrounded by guards. She moved to Kalpi with some guards where she joined additional rebel forces, including Tatya Tope. They occupied the city of Kalpi and prepared to defend it. On May 22, British forces attacked Kalpi. The forces were commanded by Rani herself and were again defeated. Death. After a series of events over which he had little control, Rani Lakshmibai ended up raising an army to fight the powerful British forces when they besieged his kingdom. Just a few weeks later, Rani Lakshmibai led her army into a lopsided battle against the British, losing her life when she was just 30 years old. She died on June 17, 1958, martyring her life for India's freedom. Rani Lakshmibai did not allow the British army to capture her body. Rani Lakshmibai, the Queen of Jhansi, was seriously injured during the battle. However, she did not wish for the British to capture her body, so she told a hermit to burn it. After her death, some locals cremated her body. Her grave is in the Phool Bagh area of Gwalior. Others' empathy. She was the bravest and best military leader of the rebels, a man among mutineers, Sir Hugh Rose. The Rani is remarkable for her bravery and cleverness and perseverance. Her generosity to her subordinates was unbounded. These qualities, combined with her rank, rendered her the most dangerous of all the rebel leaders. Lord Cumberland. Legacy. Statues of Lakshmibai are seen in many places of India, which show her and her son tied to her back. She martyred in battlefield and is a great symbol of strength of females of India. A square is named in her honor at Cantonment, Bareilly. A beautiful statue is erected at this square. Rani Lakshmibai's Central Agricultural University in Jhansi was founded in 2013. The Rani Jhansi Marine National Park is located in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the Bay of Bengal. A women's unit of the Indian National Army was named the Rani of Jhansi Regiment. In 1957, 2 postage stamps were issued to commemorate the centenary of the rebellion. Indian representations in novels, poetry, and films tend towards a simple valuation of Rani Lakshmibai as an individual uniquely devoted to the cause of Indian independence. Time and again, Jhansi's queen has reincarnated in popular culture, from poems, songs, films, serials, ballads, books, as a tribute to her valor and courage. Conclusion. A glorious epitome of patriotism and bravery, Rani Lakshmibai is the warrior woman of India, the fearless fighter our nation has witnessed so far, a true inspiration to the citizens of the nation. Moreover, the women of our nation solely acting as a fuel and igniting the minds of women to stand tall and face every hurdles. Her relentless defiance of the British forces was remarkable. An eminent figure of Indian history, Lakshmibai's name is penned down in golden figures and will always be glorified. An eventful life filled with tragedies, however, brought the dawn of a new chapter in her life. Her name will always be remembered and will continue to inspire millions of women. She indeed is a patriot who sacrificed her life to liberate her motherland.